Hello and welcome to Your Yes-Filled Life. I'm Brenda Winkle, and this podcast is for high-performing, empathic women who are ready to stop second-guessing themselves and start trusting what they know. Maybe you're successful in your career or business. People rely on you. You make difficult decisions every day, and yet sometimes the moment someone else's emotions, expectations, or opinions enter the conversation, your own clarity starts to disappear. If you've ever wondered, how can I be so confident everywhere else in my life but struggle to trust myself when it comes to my own needs, you are in the right place. Each week, we'll explore self-trust, nervous system regulation, emotional energy, boundaries, intuition, and the everyday moments where your life changes, not because you've become someone new, but because you learn to stay connected to yourself. I'll share client stories, my own experiences, practical tools, and honest conversations to help you stop abandoning yourself and start creating a life that's truly your own. Because I believe you already know more than you trust, and that is a yes-filled life. I'm so glad you're here. Let's begin. If you know you need more people seeing your work, and you've been wondering whether Meta ads could help you grow your business, or maybe if you're wondering, you haven't even started your business yet, and you're sort of thinking, I wonder if I could just do paid ads to grow, I'm going to give you 3 things you need to know before you spend a single dollar on ads. And this might surprise you, but you're going to find there to be so much value in this episode, whether or not you have a business, because the same concepts that we're going to be talking about in this episode are going to apply for you, whether or not you're in the nonprofit space, whether you're looking to get something funded, whether you're looking for a way to get what you do out into the world. This is going to apply to you no matter what industry. And number 3, the third thing that we're going to talk about is going to surprise you because you probably don't need to spend as much money as you might worry you're going to have to. So today I'm bringing in Meta ads strategist, Jenn Possick. She's a friend of mine. And together we're going to be looking at one question, which is, how do you know when your business is actually ready for ads? Now, to give you a little bit more context, we're going to be talking about businesses making 0 to 100K in this episode. And ads can absolutely help you get your work in front of more people. But, and this is the really important part, ads cannot fix something that isn't working. I learned that from Jenn personally. When I first talked to her about running ads for my business in January of 2025, I was basically ready to hire her. I was like, here, take my money. And Jenn told me, no, not forever, but not yet. I had just closed my flagship program, Your Yes-Filled Life. I was rebuilding my offers. I wasn't completely sure what offer I wanted to make my main offer. I wasn't sure which of my lead magnets or opt-ins were working. I didn't have enough evidence about what I wanted to put more money behind. And Jenn told me something I remembered ever since, which is you can't put ads behind something when you don't know if it's working. Ironically, that made me want to hire her even more. And even though I wasn't ready, she was absolutely the person that I knew I wanted to have helping me. And that's why I want to bring her to you. Because especially if you're an empathic entrepreneur, a healer, a coach, a wellness professional, or someone doing deeply personal work in the world, even if it's working for a company or a nonprofit, the business side of things can feel entirely different than the delivery side that you're working in. We talk about funnels, lead magnets, retargeting, conversion rates, ad manager, and maybe you're really amazing at what you do, and spreadsheets and words like that make you want to crawl under your desk. I totally get it. I remember in 2022, when I first heard the term lead magnet, I literally had to Google search, what is a lead magnet? So if that's how you're feeling, you're in good company. So listen for three things in this conversation. Number one, how to know when you're actually ready for ads. Number two, how to know what is worth putting ad spend behind. And number three, why you might be able to start much, much smaller than you think. And before we even dive in, if you're an empathic entrepreneur or an empath thinking about building a business, or you know that you're an empath and your empath abilities sometimes get in the way of you honoring your own needs and even make work more complicated, the next level of your business is not a strategy. It's trusting yourself enough to choose one thing and stay with it. And that's the work we do inside the Empowered Empath Collective and in Power. I'll talk more about those later, but first, I want you to meet my friend, Jenn Possick. And because apparently neither one of us can have a conversation without talking about swimming with stingrays, bioluminescence, and getting stung by jellyfish, you're going to hear a little bit about that too. All right, let's get into it. Hi, Jenn. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me.
I love any chance I can get to have a conversation with you. So I'm really excited about what we're
Same.
going to talk about, but I'm more excited to see you.
I know it's been a minute, so it makes me very happy.
It makes me happy too.
Yay.
When I think of you, I think of ads, obviously, like Meta, Facebook, Instagram ads, but more fun, I think of the Caribbean.
I mean, obviously.
Yeah, we got to share some experiences
I
on
know.
Grand Cayman.
Yeah, it makes me think of, two main things. The Stingray City, which is like one of my favorite places in the world. But
Yes.
then it also makes me think of getting to swim in bioluminescence, which that was
Yeah,
the first time I'd ever done that. And I did not know it was going to be like the most magical thing.
it was
I,
incredible.
It literally was like magic in my hands that I could like visibly, yeah, it was amazing.
I loved that experience. And I was scared of Stingray City. I
Really?
was scared.
Oh,
I didn't know if I wanted to go. In fact, the first time you brought it up, I was like, "Oh, that sounds cool. I don't know." And I was even sort of hemming and hawing a little bit on the day before we arrived,
okay.
and then I met you in person and I felt your energy and I was like, "No, she's got this. She's got this. She knows what she's doing." And so
Love
I
it.
decided, "Okay, I'm in. I'm going where Jen is going."
Yay. And then we had so much fun.
We had so much fun. It was
Yeah,
life-changing for me.
I love that.
Yeah. Oh,
Yay.
such a good memory. And I learned so much from you, not only about stingrays and bioluminescence, and oh, remember the jellyfish?
Yeah, I got stung on my face.
I got stung on my arm.
It was worth it.
It was so worth it. In fact, it sort of feels like one of those stories that I'm really excited I can tell. I have been stung by a jellyfish and lived to tell about it.
I love it.
Oh, wow. One of the things that stands out to me about you is how much fun you are willing to have. And when I say willing to have, I really mean you're willing to have fun. And so many of us don't have that relationship with fun.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's, yeah. It's interesting because I've been going through a season of grief recently, and that's one of the things that I've really been actively working on is like how much joy can I have with
Hmm.
stuff because it makes such a difference. And so like over the last few months I've had like several times of just like a lot of joy that have been really wonderful and very like joy is very healing. And it's
Hmm.
also is like resistance in this world that is, everything that's going on.
Hmm.
So, yeah.
It's the both and.
Hmm.
We could be in joy and grief.
Yeah.
We can have fun and be horrified. It's the both and.
Yep. Yeah, there's so many things that really are. It's like it's two things can be true.
Hmm.
Yeah.
One of the things that stands out to me about the work that you do is that you do a very specific kind of ads for a very specific kind of person. And I felt so seen by you when I met you because I am your ideal client. I'm somebody in the wellness space, somebody that deals with healing, that deals with a little bit more, you know, feeling stuff, energy. And
Yeah.
that's literally who you work with. And it was such a treat because I was a little worried about ads. I've always been worried about ads. Like, how do I do ads? And I'm intimidated by spreadsheets, which is it connects for me. And I'll tell you more about that in a second.
Okay.
So when I met you and you felt like you mirrored me in the energy, in chasing joy, in having fun, and being willing to expand and being willing to do things that felt scary or hard just for the sake of, let's give this a try. I want to go hold some starfish. You know, how did you come to be so comfortable?
Wait, do you mean with ads in general or?
Well, I mean, in the sense of, well, yes, I do want to talk about ads, but how did you get to be so comfortable in just moving through the world being who you are?
That's such a question. I have no idea. I mean, look, being an entrepreneur in general means that you are constantly having to work on yourself.
Same.
I've done a lot of thought work, a lot of like digging deep into all the stuff that's holding me back from making money, digging deep into, all the childhood stuff and all the like working on inner child things and all of that. And I don't know, there's a piece of it like it's also like some of it is leaning into the things that I really love. Like I do really love to travel and like go on adventures and like that type of stuff. So it's very funny because also like there are times like I don't know that I see myself like when I'm like at home and like around people where I'm like, oh, I'm like really grumpy right now and not having as much fun. So I don't know. I feel like it's not all the time. And I think it's a lot of just like working on myself, which has was I mean, I think I did a lot of that even before I was an entrepreneur, but like entrepreneurship makes you like really have to like do the work.
Hmm.
Yeah. It
Absolutely.
brings up all your stuff.
Indeed.
Yeah.
I concur.
And
Uh-huh.
it's the other thing too, though, is like it's always like it's cyclical, where like been a lot of work on like being enough and knowing that like I'm worthy just for like who I am. And then something will happen. I'm like, oh, it's that same thing that I need to work on again.
Hmm.
Or like imposter syndrome stuff, which I think like every entrepreneur goes through. Like, yeah, yeah,
I relate deeply. Yeah, absolutely. My stuff keeps getting brought up again and again and again, but it's from a different vantage point each time it comes up.
yeah. I know. I need to sometimes when it comes up, it's like I have to remind myself because my first thought is almost always like, I've already worked on this. What the heck? Like, why is this coming up again? And then I'm like, okay, it's not the exact same. It's a deeper level.
Hmm.
And then you're able to actually work on it.
This is so important to talk about because I think that there is a message that is out in the world that healing is a box to be checked. And that one day you're going to heal the inner child and ta-da, everything is going to be fine. And in my experience, and it sounds like from what you're describing, that's not exactly how it works. There is
Definitely
healing
not how it works.
and there are stops that feel like, oh, maybe I've arrived. And then there's a deeper level.
Yeah. I don't think that's how it works for anybody. And it's so funny because sometimes like you hear people talk about like, oh, I went through all of this and now I'm like healed, I'm good. And
Hmm.
like, but it's like then you like actually like get to know the person and you dig in and you see like the behind the scenes and it's like, and here's all these places where your life is literally falling apart and you're not doing the work anymore. And it's like, yeah, I mean, it really is true for everybody, even when people are telling you like, oh, everything is so good. That's not, that's never the full story. Like, Yeah.
That's it. And it goes back to where we started, which is it's the both and.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
So this might be a good time to move into talking about ads because this relates to ads so deeply. And there's a couple things that I have questions around that I'd love to dive into that it might just sort of happen organically. But I know that you know so much about ads that I'm going to kind of let you lead the conversation
Oh, okay.
because I know enough to know that I have two questions that I kind of want to
Okay.
kick us off with, and then I know enough to know I don't know.
Got it. Perfect.
Okay.
Let's hear the two
All right. So the
questions.
two questions are, how do you know when your business is ready for ads? What are the markers for that?
Perfect.
That's question number one. And then question number two is, do you have to spend tens of thousands of dollars on ads? Because I think those two questions are the questions that I hear coming up from my clients most.
Mm, those are great questions. Okay. So, how do you know when it's like you're ready for ads? Because here's the thing, sometimes people will come to me and they like have a brand new business and they're like, "Yeah, I want to run ads." And I'm like, "Cool, not quite time." Like for a lot, like I am ads are not the first step for your business. First
Okay.
and foremost, you have to be able to sell. You have to like have a business that is doing its job and it's already working. Otherwise, you can run ads that work, but if you're not able to sell, the ads are going to waste their money. Um, so that's like first and foremost. You want to have a business that like it's working, you know who your customers are, you know who your clients are. You have the budget to be able to invest in ads, like they really are an investment. Um, but they take time. They don't always work right away. You have to be able to like have that buffer that like if they don't work right away, it's okay. You're not like giving up on them. They can take some time. You also have to have a strategy that works. Sometimes I will see people that just like don't know what they're doing, start running ads, and then they waste their money.
Mhm.
Um, if you boost a post, you're going to waste your money the vast majority of the time. There's a lot of ways that you can run ads that are not effective. And then people, that's why, largely why people say, like, oh, well, I've tried ads and they don't work. But it's like, you have to have those things in place. You have to know what you're doing or work with somebody who does.
Mhm.
And then, but the biggest thing is like, your business needs to be in a place where it's working, it's doing its job. You just need to get more people in. You just are ready to scale, but you're able to sell. So that's
Mhm.
like the biggest thing. When it comes to ads, there's a few types of ads that tend to be the most effective. So I talk a lot about list building ads and then also launch ads. So list building ads are just ads to grow your email list. You're sending them to sign up for your lead magnet. The biggest thing with that, list building ads can take a long time before people are ready to buy. So we want to shorten that time. I'm a big fan of putting something on the thank you page and selling on the thank you page, and then selling pretty much right away in your email welcome series as well. So with that, if you do consult calls like pretty early on, I'm a huge fan of putting like a video sales letter going into a consult call on the thank you page and then making your email welcome series going into, hey, let's schedule a time to chat. If you don't do that, I've also had clients have a lot of success with running ads to a lead magnet and then on the thank you page putting a small ticket offer on it. And that way you're kind of like recouping some of that ad spend right away and then continuing to email them so that eventually when they're ready to buy the high ticket, then they're there on your list.
I love
Um,
this. Can we
yeah,
make a couple of definitions for people in case
absolutely.
there are brand new people that just have decided they're going to open a business? When we talk about list building and an email list, let's
Yep.
talk about what that is.
Yeah. So first off, with your email list, I mean, when you can email somebody and you're emailing your entire list of 100 or 1,000 or 10,000 people at a time, you write that one email and it goes out to everybody. I'm not talking about like your Gmail. I'm talking about it could be Kit, it could be inside your Go High level, it could be in your Kajabi, it could be like there's so many platforms that
Hmm.
any of those platforms are fine. Um, yeah, but you're sending that email out to everybody. So I'm a big fan of emailing your list on a regular basis, like weekly. But then when somebody signs up for your stuff, you've got an email welcome series. So the first email in that series delivers the lead magnet, the free thing that you're giving of value. The other emails you're going to basically be selling because back in the day they used to say like, oh, you're doing all this time to like warm people up and warm them up and you don't sell to the last email. But now like people just go and like they stalk you on social. They just you grow the know like and trust factor so much faster so you really can start selling that much faster. So usually by like the second email, I think you should tell them what's that next step to work with you.
That's amazing. I love that. And then for the listener who's like, okay, I heard you talk about low ticket and high ticket, and they might be making up a range of prices. How do you define low ticket and high ticket?
So in this case, if you're putting something like putting an offer on the thank you page, I mean low ticket is under $100.
Hmm.
Typically, it's going to be anywhere from like $7 to $50 for like a low ticket thing that you are selling on the thank you page. And then you've got that first offer. You have to have some upsells in there. It could be like a one-click checkout type thing, and then another offer on the thank you page. The offer on the thank you page could even be for a consult. It could be for like a paid consult. Um, or just a slightly more expensive thing. Um, for example, I have a client who we ran ads for a very long time. So she does retreats. She just recently sold her business, but we ran ads to this for a very long time. She had top 5 tips for retreat professionals to make 25 to 50,000 per retreat. So they sign up for that. She doesn't do consult calls unless somebody's like ready to go for her one-on-one, like super high ticket. Her high ticket in this case is like, I think it's 44,000 a year. So like that's definitely extra high ticket.
Hmm.
Um, Also, when I talk about high ticket, that can mean whatever range that it needs to of what your services are that is like more than a few $100.
Right,
Some people like they talk about it's like 5,000 or more, but it depends on your business, you know.
right. That's my
Um,
definition too. And I
yeah.
call things like in the 2 to 3 thousand a mid ticket.
Yeah,
We,
I think that's pretty much true. And, you know, it varies based on what your business is.
yeah.
Um, so ran ads to that on the thank you page because she doesn't do consult calls. She had an offer for it was her retreat bundle of like master classes that typically she sold it for like 1,000. And when we first started running the ads, she was like, okay, I'll do it for like 111. And so would sell a few, but then she was like, okay, I'm willing to like play with the price. She started selling it for like $33. And it started selling really well because the whole goal was to get more people paying her immediately because for somebody to go on retreat with her, it usually takes like 9 months before they're like ready to go and sign up.
Hmm.
So we started that started selling really well. It was like 12% of the offers. It was covering her ad spend with it. And then a lot of the people that like if they're willing to pay her once, they're more willing to pay again. So we also found last year of her retreats, and she sold out all of her retreats. 76% of the retreat attendees first found her through a Facebook ad.
Wow.
Yeah,
Talk about return on investment.
I know. So it's like her ad spend was covered. And then long term, the ads made a lot of money.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Hmm. So for somebody that is at that level, they probably already know this lead magnet. And by the way, maybe we should define lead magnet for a listener who's like, I don't know what that is. It's a way for people to exchange their email address for something that you provide. Like it could be a meditation, could be a checklist, could be a
yep.
whatever. So I just lost my train of thought.
You were saying that she probably knows around for somebody at that level that she knows something.
Right, 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 right. So the person at that level already knows the lead magnet that works. For somebody who is just starting out and doesn't know for sure that the lead magnet works, how would someone know?
That's a good question. And here's the funny thing, she did not. I kind of forced her to create the lead magnet because when we first started working together, she actually had me, the very first thing we ran ads directly to a retreat, and it was just like, this is not the thing. And I knew it was not the thing, but it's what she wanted. So I like, we had, sometimes ads have to fail a little before we can like revamp.
Hmm.
Um, but she had written this series of like 5 tips for retreat professionals. And I was like, and they were just like separate Facebook posts. And I was like, this would make a really good lead magnet because people were into it. So when it comes to lead magnets, first off, you want it to be something of value. You want it to be quickly consumable, typically 5 to 10 minutes. The ones that I've seen not work, especially not work for ads, is like a mini course
Hmm.
because it sounds like it's so long. It's always more expensive than other things. So it could be like a checklist, a cheat sheet, a guide, a short audio or video, could be a quiz. It could also be curated podcast episodes, which is like the one exception for time. But I think that's because people listen to podcasts differently than they consume other things.
Hmm.
So like if I get like private podcast episodes, I might be like in the car driving and I'm listening, or I might be like cooking or working out. And so it's a lot easier for people to listen to them.
Hmm.
I had one client where for years that was her main lead magnet, and they worked really well because she knew if somebody listened to the podcast, they were way more likely to become a client. Like her best clients came from her podcast. So, and she had like over 100 episodes. She just curated like these are the top 3 episodes that she knew brought people in to work with her. So could also be like podcast episodes or a private podcast. The other thing is it needs to really lead into like what's the next step for working with you.
Hmm.
I have seen people where they're like, "Oh, sign up for my email list and enter to win a free iPad." And it's like, well, sure, I want to win a free iPad, but that doesn't mean that I need anything to do with your business.
Right.
So the best ones really are like, if you're signing up for this, you are very much so like my ideal client, and it leads into like what's the next step to work together.
Hmm.
So those are the big things with creating it.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And I'm trying to tap into my clients who are at different phases of their journey. And not all my clients are business owners. A lot of my clients are in corporate, or they're
Mm,
in nonprofits, or they're in healthcare spaces. And so as I'm thinking about those people and the questions that they might have, one thing that comes up for me is if someone owns a brick and mortar business or they're employed by a brick and mortar business,
mhm.
does do the ads change?
Yes, and it depends too on what type of business. So I've worked with a lot of like local business owners that are service based. So one that did some like energy healing type of stuff with like a machine that does fun Tesla wave things. That type of thing with massage, with chiropractic, any type of service based, usually it's going to be some type of a special offer.
Hmm.
So it might be if you already, and I would use what do you already have? What do you already have for new people that you know is working? So it could be I've had some people where it's like a discounted or even like a free initial thing. So like with a chiropractor, like a discounted initial exam. So you get your doctor's report of findings, you get the x-rays, you get the whatever. And then after they go over everything, and then they go over like, okay, here's the package of services that I would recommend. It could be with acupuncturist, massage therapist type of thing where it's like a discount or some type of special offer where you get a bonus when it's like for your first time when you sign up for the list. Any type of thing where it's like then they need to like experience it and then you can sell them on a package of your services. It's always a great thing to have some type of special offer with that.
Oh, that's
But
so
it's like
good.
use what's already working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know that you have a membership that helps people figure this out because somebody like me who, by the way, intuition comes in a lot of ways. It comes in through movement. It comes in through meditation and sort of connecting to the other side. But it also comes in through spreadsheets and structures and maps. And I don't have access to that specific kind of intuition, but I know you do. And so for somebody that feels like, I don't even know where to start, you have a membership. Can you talk a little
I
bit about
do.
that?
Yeah. So I have my Ad Makers Society. I really love it. It's so funny because I offer ads management. I also offer done with you services, and I really love those. Um, and I used to teach elementary school, and I think that's what I really love with the done with you services. I get to still like teach. Um, and I was at an event and I was talking to the person running the event, and one of the things she gave me the advice for was to really start talking about like what financial level should my people be at for different level of services. And I ended up polling my list of like, hey, how much are you bringing in your business every like each year, A, B, C, D, or E, with like, like 500 plus, like 250 to 500, 100 to, whatever. And I found that the vast majority, so a lot of people, like more people than ever before, actually wrote me back to tell me what letter they were. And with that, I found that the majority of people on my email list were making less than 100,000 a year. And so I was thinking about it and I was like, okay, so if somebody's making less than 100,000 a year, like clearly ads management, like that's a silly thing. They should not be doing that. And I still have people, they're on my list because they want to run ads. And I
Hmm.
was thinking about like, what are the ads that are actually going to be effective for them? And around the same time, I had a friend who was like a new friend that I met at a local networking group. And we started following each other on Instagram. And every time I would see her, she would be like, Jen, your ads are always showing up. Like every time that I like get on Facebook or Instagram, your ad is there. Like I always see you. And I'm like, well, yeah, of course they are because I'm running retargeting ads. Like that's what they're designed to do. And so I was realizing like I run retargeting ads for all of my clients, like at every level, because they're great ads to run. But I wasn't really talking about them very much.
Hmm.
And so retargeting ads are simply when somebody has engaged with you on Facebook or Instagram, or they visited your website, and you're just targeting them. Again, you're retargeting them. So retargeting ads are really great to run to a paid thing, to run to schedule a call, something where it's like really taking the next step because people already know you a little bit. So you might as well sell to them. And with retargeting ads, you can realistically spend like $5 a day and still have some really good traction with it. So that was kind of where I created my Ad Makers Society from and for to really focus on retargeting ads and to really focus on businesses making less than 100,000 a year to show them step by step how to run ads that actually work for them. So
Hmm.
now I have my all about retargeting ads training in there. And then I also put in my list building ads lab training in there. Because list building ads are still really good to be able to run. And then I have monthly, a couple times a month, like I do office hours where people can hop on, they share their screen, and they just ask all their questions. We look at their ads, we work on their landing pages, their thank you pages, their funnels, any piece that they need help with. And it's on school, so there's like a Facebook group for it. Nope, there's not a Facebook group. There's a school group for it. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so I really love it because it makes it like, yeah, I don't know. I
I
really
love it
love
too.
it.
I'm a member and I need to take
You are.
more advantage of the trainings. I
I would
resolve
agree.
and I'm saying yes. And I'm saying out loud for accountability, I will be there this summer much
All
more
right.
than I've ever been
All
because
right.
I really value the work that you do. And when the first time you said to me, it was January 2025, you said, you can't put ads behind something you don't know if it's working. And I was ready to hire you on the spot until you said that. And then because you said that, I trusted you way more because I had just closed down my flagship program. I wasn't sure if my lead magnets were working.
Mm.
They might have been, but I just wasn't sure. And I had no concept yet of what I was doing. After I canceled the program, Your Yes Filled Life, I was like, okay, now what? And it's
Yeah.
taken me a full year well, actually more than a year, about 14 months to let that all sift through. And now I know exactly what I'm doing and I
I
know
love
exactly
it.
what's working. And so I want to really highlight something for the listener who's saying, I'm talking to all these people, but it's not working yet. So Jen and I started talking about this in January 2025. And because you were so kind and so direct and so honest, you built a lot of trust with me. And now I'm ready. But it's
Yay.
not January 2025, it's June 2026. Things take time.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. This is so, so good. So, for the person who's thinking, I don't even know where to start, can they start with Ad Maker Society?
Yeah, honestly, ad makers is a great place to start because even if they're still ultimately not really ready for ads, it gives all the things to get your lead magnet up and running because that's a whole thing. Getting your systems in place, getting your funnels in place is a whole thing. Ad makers is a great place to start.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And I just want to say out loud that you have so many abilities in getting this part of the business mechanism rolling and going. And so you talk about ads, but you do a whole lot more than ads. And I want to highlight that. And then I have one more follow up about social media. I want to highlight that because it's easy for people to say, I do all these things. And they say, I do, XYZ and ABC. And then people don't know what you're doing because I heard it compared to going to a restaurant and being able to order sushi, Italian food, and Indian food from the same restaurant. And
Oh,
I was like, oh, that hit something in me where I all of a sudden I
yeah.
get why I'm not going to talk about doing all these things because it
Mm,
lessens my effectiveness if they don't think I'm an expert in the first thing, right?
yeah.
The second thing I wanted to just peel back a little bit is I heard something subtle in what you were saying about the ads, that there needed to be something posted on someone's social media for them to know what people are liking. So if somebody's not posting on social media or they don't want to post on social media, what would happen as far as ads go?
So, okay, so with retargeting ads, I mean, it's literally you're targeting people who have engaged with you on social.
Hmm.
So sometimes, like I have a client right now where we're getting things going. She's doing like a weekly master class, and somebody had suggested running retargeting ads, and it was like literally she has a brand new page. There's nobody to retarget yet. So it's like we can run some retargeting ads down the line, but not yet. Um, you can still run ads without like posting all the time. And you just want to know that what you're doing is going to be effective, or you have the money to test it. So it's like, especially with like list building is lower risk than like a launch, right? Like if somebody's doing like a webinar and you don't know if you can even sell during the webinar, like it's a bigger risk than like running some ads for like $30 a day to grow your email list.
Hmm.
But even so, if you don't know like who your ideal client is, you could be growing your list with people that are still never going to buy.
Hmm.
Um, but I am always a big fan of like, yeah, post about it. Make sure people are signing up for it. Make sure like what your offer is something that people want. And you could post about it on Facebook, on Instagram, you could post about it on LinkedIn. You can like even you can email your list about it too. Like just make sure that it is in fact something that people do want and are signing up for before you put too much money behind it for some ads.
I love this. And the reason I asked is I work with a lot of people who have um, a fear around visibility.
Mm,
Visibility being, I don't know what my friends will think if I post. I don't know what my current clients, if I'm working in another role, will think if I post. And so there's a lot of hesitation. And if that is true for someone, that is a place I can help you because we
Yep.
we work on that nervous system stuff in the work that I do. But I also wanted to highlight we're not going to be able to not share about our
Yeah.
work. We have to share our
So
work.
here's one of the things that I will tell you that I don't ever usually talk about. Because,
Ooh.
but I think that, I mean, if that is seriously the thing that's happening for you, where it's like you need to work on the visibility because otherwise, like you're not posting because you're like scared of it.
Mhm.
I think that'll tank your ads because energetically it's going to mess things up. So like
Yeah.
I would like work through some stuff with that before you
Mhm.
start running ads.
I love that.
Yeah.
Energetically, I would agree.
I mean,
100%.
it's so true though. Like the way like that type of stuff can absolutely mess with you and make everything else not just not work.
Mhm.
Like, yeah.
Thank you for saying that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It really is true. And I've seen it happen before. I
Oh,
mean,
I've
I
done it.
also go through like, yeah, same. Like I go through it's everything, it's so cyclical. I go through cycles where it's like I am very good at being invisible.
Mhm.
And I have to very consciously be like, nope, I'm going to be visible and I'm going to show up.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah.
It's evolving for me. So my invisibility isn't actually invisible. My
Okay.
invisibility is still showing up, but I'm not going deep with my own emotions.
Uh,
And so I sometimes have to check in with myself to be like, okay, are you actually sharing Brenda?
mm,
And so if I'm in a season of that, that's how it manifests for me now. But I've done a ton of nervous system work on being able to show up in general, and I'm a performer by nature. And so, putting on the performance is
right.
easy. I just want it to be more meaningful than,
Yeah. That makes sense.
yeah. Oh, I love
And
it.
I think especially like your people can also tell when it's not. You know, like I find sometimes like there are people that like there's no reason at all. They just irk me. And I'm like, why is this person triggering me so much? And then like down the line, I'll find out because there's something about them that was just very fake that
Mhm.
they were putting on. And it's like, oh, yep, that makes sense.
It does. Do you identify as an empath?
Yeah,
I thought so.
yeah,
Yeah. Because most of our listeners, I either have empathic tendencies or very, very compassionate in serving kinds of professions, whether it's healthcare or healing or education.
yeah.
Um, yeah. And the empath journey is real, especially when we find those people that either we're drawn to, the way I felt with you, or the people that we're absolutely like
Mhm.
repelled by.
Yeah, that is, yep.
Yeah. Did you
Yeah,
always listen?
mostly. I used to say that my mom was like the new age queen. Like so I've grown up around a lot of modalities and a lot of, you know, like so mostly.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
I always like marked it down, but there was a part of me that felt like nobody listened to her
Mm,
and felt like literally like people don't listen to me. And so there was a part that, and I'm talking about an unhealed child part when I say part. She has since been healed and we still are friends. But this
we still
part
are friends.
would stir the pot and try to reveal why someone was untrustworthy. And
Oh,
so
interesting.
this part would put me into really precarious situations so I could say, yeah, I told you. Um,
Huh.
and so it was never not listening, but it was an unhealed child part that would allow me to um, go into those situations knowing full well what was going to happen.
Oh, interesting. The
Yeah.
things that we do.
The things that we do.
Yeah.
What's next for you?
So
What are you
funny.
excited about?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, It's very funny. The things that, so none of this, well, some of it's business, but I literally just got back. We had a roller derby tournament in Seattle that we played 5 games, and it was bank track roller derby, and it was so incredibly fun. So I'm still like on a high from that. Next week, I'm going to KIT, formerly Convert Kit's conference in Boise, which I've never been to Boise.
I lived in Boise
Um,
for
did
17
you really?
years.
Oh, I
Yeah.
did know that. That's so funny. All right, well, we'll have to chat after. You can tell me what I need to check out.
Okay, sounds
Um,
good.
and then I'm going to Maine at the end of this month for a Susan Hyatt event. And I scheduled a whale watching trip for while I was there. I also went whale watching last week.
Mm.
And we had an orca that came like right up by the boat, which that was really cool. Um, and speaking of whales, I have a trip planned for February of next year to go pet some gray whales in Baja because the trip got
Oh,
rescheduled from last year. Um, so I'm very excited for that. And we're going on an Alaskan cruise. My wife and I were going with some friends that one of my friends, I've been friends with her since I was in my early 20s in Asheville. So it's like literally I've been friends with her for over 20 years, which is so crazy to me to be like kind of old. Um, but we're going dog sledding on a glacier, which I've never done before. So I'm very excited for that. Yeah,
that sounds amazing.
yeah. None of that is like business,
Oh,
but
that wasn't didn't have to be business. I just asked what
perfect.
was next, and you gave a
That's true.
beautiful answer. Oh my gosh, so fun.
Yeah.
Where can people find you and connect with you?
Yeah. So I'm just at Jenn Possick on kind of all the things. So on Instagram, on Facebook. I've been posting a lot on Threads recently. Or just jennpossick.com is my website.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And I'll put all those links in the show notes. It's Posick with
Perfect.
two S's,
Yep.
Possick.
Yep.
And
And two
uh,
N's for Jen.
oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's important.
That's a big one.
That's a big one.
Yep.
Yes. Well, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been so fun.
It has been really fun. All right. Well, here's to really great ads. So here's what I want you to take away from this conversation with Jen. More visibility is not automatically the answer because putting more people in front of something that isn't working doesn't make it work. It just lets more people see the thing that isn't working. So before you spend money trying to get more ads on your business, ask yourself 3 questions. Number one, do I know who I'm talking to? Number two, do I know what they want? And number three, do I have evidence that this offer, lead magnet, or next step is something people are actually responding to? If the answer is yes, then you may be closer to being ready for ads than you thought. And as Jen explained, that doesn't necessarily mean jumping straight into spending thousands of dollars on ads. There are strategies like retargeting that can allow you to start much smaller and put your offers back in front of people who already know something about you. And I want to leave you with one more thing because I think this matters especially for entrepreneurs who have empathic tendencies. You don't need to use paid visibility to outrun uncertainty. In fact, it probably won't work because you haven't done the inner work. You haven't actually expanded the capacity in your nervous system. I didn't try to do this. Thankfully, Jen didn't let me. Otherwise, I might have. I wanted to work with Jen more than a year before I actually knew the thing I wanted to amplify. I waited, I tested, I did the inner work, I changed things, I let my business evolve. And eventually, I got to the place where now I can say with confidence, I know what I'm doing. I know the offer I would put money behind. I know what's working. And now I'm ready to put fuel behind it. That's really different from throwing money at something because you're scared and you don't have enough clients or you just don't want to be visible. So here's what I want you to do next. Choose one thing that you're working on, either in your business or for your work, that you think you might eventually want to advertise and look for evidence that it's already working. You could look for signs that people are clicking, that people are signing up, or that they're buying. Or are people asking you questions? They're asking about your offer. Don't guess. Don't get emotional about it. Look for the actual evidence. Is there evidence people want the thing? If there's not evidence, that means that there's something not working yet. And if this conversation made you realize that the part you're struggling with isn't necessarily meta ads at all, it's that you're constantly questioning the offer, changing direction, second guessing what you know, looking outside of yourself for the answer, or you might have nervous system that's going into a stress response where it's blocking your attempt at even being visible in any way. That's where my work comes in. If you're an empathic woman who is ready to stop overriding herself and build the capacity to trust what she knows, Power Self Trust for Empaths opens for enrollment in September. And if you want support now, the Empowered Empath Collective is where we're doing August and September. We're really spending time exploring intuition and strengthening your relationship with your own knowing. And you'll find links for those in the show notes. I do have a very small number of openings for private coaching. If that calls to you, that is the highest level way to work with me. And it's by application only. It is a significant investment. So don't apply if you're not serious, but you get really fast results in private coaching because we're working with your exact situation, with your nervous system. Everything is customized to you. And you're going to find Jenn's links in the show notes as well. I'll link all of her information, including the Ad Makers Society, because if you listened today and you thought, okay, I am ready, I just don't know what the hell I'm doing, Jenn is somebody I personally trust and recommend to help you figure it out. Jenn, thank you for being here. Thank you for this conversation. Thank you for being my friend. And my dear listener, thank you for listening. Thank you for being a part of your Yes Filled Life. Be sure you've subscribed wherever you're listening so that you don't miss the upcoming episodes. Judith Orloff is coming very shortly. We'll hear from the godmother of the empath movement. You're also going to hear from Elizabeth Ralph, the host of the Spiritual Investor podcast. There's just so much good things happening on the podcast. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. Bye for now. Until next time.